Alright, welcome everybody, welcome to Kirin Rise University, and this is a YouTube video that I'm actually doing for the 1st of March. It's actually still February though. So anyway, you're wondering, okay, where have you been? Where's all the videos that you promised you were going to be doing? Well, it gets really freaking cold here in the Chicago area, and we have been blasted by not only bad snow, but also a ton of weather. That's extremely freaking cold, and I shoot all my video here basically in my garage, so I could definitely do a video still, but unfortunately, with the heater on, the sound just would kill it, right? So there's my excuses that I like to use, but that really is the main reason that the videos haven't been popping up on YouTube lately. But anyway, if you, like I've always said, the videos on, I do Facebook Live, the Zoom classes are still resuming on a regular basis. That's open to everybody, no cost at all. And you're welcome to join us usually on Tuesday and Thursdays when I throw them out. So anyway, with that being said, here's the video that I've wanted to do for quite some time. And it's basically because this is probably the number one, or not if the number one, up there as far as most questions asked, is regarding this. Oh wait, this. All right, this is the Wing Chun ring, or whatever you want to call it, okay? So this has been over the years, I've been asked over and over again, is this good for training? Do you recommend this, and so forth? And I think really this is an act of selfishness on my part. It's not so much that I wanted to do the video, it's just I was just too lazy to keep answering the same questions over and over again. But in true fashion, I got this about 3-4 weeks ago before, and I was ready to shoot the video and all gung-ho excited about it. But then all of a sudden the cold streak just happened, and I was like, all right, screw it, everyone's gonna have to wait. Okay, but let's apply some Wing Chun philosophy and theory to this concept as well. You know, in the past, my explanation to most people is like, okay, the ring, not necessary at all. You don't need it at all. It gives you bad habits and so forth. But I wanted to do the video, and this is how you apply Wing Chun to everyday aspect of life. Is that when Wing Chun, we see both sides, right? Left, right, up, down, good, bad, doesn't matter. And to us, everything all seems the same. So to say if I was going to do this video and I was slanted towards one side as far as being negative on it, I wanted to give it a chance, right? I wanted to give it a chance and say, give you both sides of perspective of the thing. And so I think because of the, it's good timing, not only because of Wing Chun, also bad weather, I let my emotions settle in a little bit. And I gave this a little bit of a try as far as how could this possibly benefit you and help you in the long run as far as doing your motions, okay, or learning certain things. Does this have any redeemable factor? And I got this, I think, on Amazon for 13 bucks. And no, I'm not putting a link down. I'm just too freaking lazy to do that. You can just put Wing Chun ring and just look at it as well. So the ring overall, 13 bucks. I from what I've heard from other people, there are different weighted size ones that affect you. And I think the biggest thing I told most people in the beginning is that if you have the ring, right, these Wing Chun rings, the main problem is the targeting, right? The targeting, okay? And I want you to keep that in perspective too, because that's the overall idea behind it. Targeting is always key. If you have the target, and it's very difficult to have the target because you're thinking of all other factors in addition to the target itself. So here we have the ring, okay? Let's look at it, okay? So I usually said the main problem is if you have the ring, beginners, and even subconsciously in your mind, the target, if my target is straight ahead, okay, and I have the Wing Chun ring, what's your goal for most times? What will beginners have a tendency of doing? Instead of going to the target straight ahead, let's say I'm in this Hoi Kwanzaa motion, right? This drilling motion. What's my goal instead? To actually have the ring in place, right? In other words, I'm pushing it to one side to another so the rings don't fall off, so I'm actually holding it in place. Now, as for me, I can control it, and I know my structure as far as when I'm moving away from the target. But I would say that the biggest problem for beginners is that they will have the tendency to right? If I have this in my hands, keeping it in place, to push out more to the side, right? It's just a natural tendency. Someone taps your shoulder, you look over to the side. Your hands are being touched, and you don't want the rings to fall down. Then you're going to end up going away from the target as opposed to going straight, but towards the rings itself. Okay. Now with that being said, let's say you practice Wing Chun a bit longer and you're more aware to target towards the center, okay? So if you're aware of the target center, you can then make the argument then that, okay, these rings, they're keeping me within my triangle. So it's beneficial that way. I'm in my triangle like this. And if I'm in my triangle this, I don't necessarily have to push out. I'm just gonna be here, roll, roll, and roll, and roll. So yeah, you could say the argument is if I know what I'm doing, I won't be pushing out to it. And it's basically being used as an aid to keep me within my triangle. Okay, I can say that maybe that is a possibility that you can stay within the triangle, but the problem with that exists. Okay, I'm using a Kwanzaa motion for that. Like this is the Kwanzaa motion, the rolling motion for it, and it's trying to keep you within your place. But let's say something as simple as tan punch, right? Tan punch. So I'm here in my triangle, like I'm using it here. I go tan punch. Okay, so I'm doing tan punch. The problem is, even if you try to say you're focusing towards the target itself, I think overall, this in itself detriments the actual motion that you're learning, okay? By that meaning, you're like, okay, there's my target. This is gonna keep me contained in my motion, all right? You could say it's contained in my motion and so forth. But the key thing to remember is you want to learn the true motion of the technique. Okay, so with that being said, okay, and let me put it down. If I do tan punch, this is the true motion that you want to learn. You want to learn how far is too far, how far is too short, right? The reverse. What is the right distance for you to apply the actual tan punch technique, right? And you could say, okay, well, won't this keep my hands together? That's, you know, at the end of the day, that's what practice is called. Right? In the beginning, you may be shooting out too far. All right? You may be shooting it out too far. In the beginning, you may be shooting it out too wide. You may be shooting it too wide. In the beginning, you may be shooting it too short, regardless of the fact. But that's the thing. That is all based off practice. You have to practice it. And anything, I think, in the long run, that detracts from you focusing on the main target, I think in the long run, you may say this can kind of help, but I think overall it's not necessary. I played around with it a bit, and I think, yeah, there could be a sense of argument to say, if it's keeping me within my triangle, it kind of aids. But you know what? The best, like I said, the best aid to keep you within your triangle is called practice. It really is. It's all practice. So, when it comes to training Wing Chun, here's all you need. You need the swords, the double butterfly swords. You need the pole, and you need a dummy. And those are the only equipment that you ever freaking need, all right? And then basically you need a partner to work with, okay? And this would be a perfect plug for me to toss in Kirin University to learn from. I'm not gonna do that, right? But hopefully that makes sense. When we come to this overall device itself, beginners, I think you're just gonna end up stretching out to the side, right? Then if you're a little more advanced, you could say this is containing and I'm not worried about it. But the fact is, it's around your arm. You're gonna have thought behind it as far as don't push out to the side, right? Don't push out to the side. You're gonna have that thought. You don't want that thought process in your head when you're practicing. Your thought process should be on the motion. You don't want to have a negative thought process behind that. My goal is to the target, and here's my target, right? My target is straight ahead, okay? I can do this. Now, let's say later on, I can use this this device, and then without pushing on it, without detrimenting my motion and so forth. But guess what? I'm already at that stage without using this at all, okay? So basically, here's my overall recommendation to you guys. 13 bucks on Amazon. I'm telling you this, save your money. It's not necessary. Everyone is trying to find a simpler way to advance your training. Bottom line, know what you're doing, practice it correctly, and those basically the three things, sword, pole, and dummy is all you ever need in Wing Chun. Okay, if you have any questions, comments, your thoughts on it as well, and hopefully this is the last time I'll answer as far as do you need the ring or not. well, it's up to you. If you want to blow 13 bucks, that's up to you to blow 13 bucks. But anyway, more videos to come as long as the weather isn't suckering me in Chicago here. And hope you enjoy.